Boys, sup to my name is John Chico, that was the main channel. Hi, welcome back to another series of the Animator Season 2. And what are we to continue it than having the one, the only, the person who inspires so many animators and pig feathers, the legendary NLW.
Hey man, it's NLW here. Thank you for interviewing me. It's the first one I've done.
Let's get right into this interview. What made you get into stop motion and start a YouTube channel?
When I first started getting into stop motion, the main inspirations for me were like LKS, Steve-O back in the day. There's also this dude called Angus the Cat who used to upload animations. He did this elimination chamber that kind of captivated me in a big way, and all those LKS pay-per-views. And I think Steve-O started doing a couple of shows in his shed, and those all really motivated me early on.
In this year alone, you uploaded and became a lot more active on your channel. Is that somewhat due to the lockdown and the coronavirus and you just had time to do a lot more?
I became a lot more active. Out of boredom, like you said, with lockdown gives you a lot of free time. I used to not have my stuff with me at uni, but then I brought a bunch of figures down and just started animating a load of stuff, writing a load of new things, and yeah, it just went on from there, and I really wanted to make an effort for NLW this year.
What's one match that you're very proud of, even up to this day?
I'm extremely proud of the 4th Royal Rumble I did, so the last one. Also, the Triple Cage, that did really well. Other than that, any elimination chamber I've made, the NLW versus NWO elimination match from WrestleMania 2, I want to say, because that was the culmination of this big storyline. My best storyline to date, in my opinion, so I'm very proud of that match.
Was there any point in time that you just wanted to retire NLW? Because you've been doing this for years and years, and it's been a long time.
There was a point back in 2018 where I wanted to retire the whole thing. WrestleMania 3 was the last show it was going to be. And then I made a couple more and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to stick with it because a lot of people were sad to see me leave and I don't think I was ready just yet. I had some mileage and I'm glad I did because now I'm enjoying it more than ever.
You're an OG in this community. How has the community changed from since you began to now?
I'd say back in the day it was easier for animators to get noticed. I think it's much more difficult now because of the algorithm. They favour longer videos and obviously animators have to spend more time on shorter videos like 10 seconds or more or whatever, but that's where I think it's changed and it's a bit of a shame. But then again, the pick fed, I think, aspect of it has improved dramatically since I started watching back then. So I would say some things have gotten better, some things have gotten worse. But I would like to see more of a community spirit. I think it's starting to get back now. I've spoken to a bunch of people online and, the people in this community, for the most part, I would say, are cool people.
Done both pig fed, and stop motion. But if you had to choose one or you had to stay with one, which one would it be and why?
Defo stop motion, it's my bread and butter. It's what made me popular in the first place. Although I do like doing pick fed, I like stop motion's ability to kind of be, no pun intended, animated, but seeing it come to life on screen. I think you can have that with pick fed, but it's a little bit more difficult, I think.
Where did the name NLW come from?
No limits in terms of matches, no limits in terms of dream matches. I wanted there to be wide range of possibilities, and that's why I decided to go with No Limits Wrestling. I wanted that extreme edge, that kind of ECW-esque ruthless aggression style, and I thought, what better than No Limits? So that was the key selling point early on.
What's your thoughts on, since you live in the UK and everything, what's your thoughts on the UK not getting exclusive figures?
Yeah, like you say, US gets them all, it seems. The Walter as well, he was a UK champion, and yet he's a US exclusive. It boggles my mind a little bit, but I would like to see a couple more. I think the Cody ring, that was a good UK exclusive. I think there was a Tyler Bate one a couple of years ago, but that might have spread overseas, I'm not sure. Other than that, yeah, it'd be nice to have a couple more, although I will still pay the prices for US imports.
Does your friends know you do stop motion or have a stop motion YouTube channel?
I try and keep the YouTube as private as possible, but obviously some people will find it. Like a couple of people I know have followed my NLW account, and without even talking to me about it, so that was a bit weird. And yeah, but for the most part, they're cool with it. Like, they think it's cool. Like, I was living with my housemates, I was doing a live stream, and they saw the breakfast bar that I was doing it on, and they marked out a little bit. So yeah, they dig it. They think it's quite cool, even though they can hear me commentate sometimes and find it a little bit annoying. Like when I'm like, "What's he doing here?" You know, they can overhear me in my room.
Would you ever do? I think this is what some people want to know and everything. Would you ever do a face reveal, or is that something you would like to keep private?
Nah, my face is going to remain a mystery. Like, you're not seeing it for a while, unless I hit like a big milestone, like 100k, a million, which is unlikely at the moment. But you know, never say never. But for now, my face, my identity, will remain a mystery.
Every creator deals with being unmotivated, especially stop motion creators. Do you ever get unmotivated? And if you do, what do you do to motivate yourself?
I always get unmotivated. The one thing you have to do is really just separate yourself from it. A lot of people would say just push through it. You know, sometimes it's just best not to push through it. Take a break, sit back, relax for a bit. But when I do get unmotivated, if I want to motivate myself, I'll watch other people's feds and get motivated by that, because I'll see what other people are creating in the community, and I'll be like, I want to do that, or I want to improve on it, or whatever I want to do. Also watching old wrestling, because you can see different spots, different storylines, and that kind of motivates me in a creative sense.
Did you ever think that NLW will get big as it is today?
No way did I think NLW would get this big. I started off, and it took me a while to get to 1,000, and then from there it got bigger, and I was just happy. I didn't even notice the change, but it was good. You know, I'm very grateful for where I am now.
In this community, the stop motion community or the pig fed community, doesn't matter. Who do you enjoy watching, or just?
MDT, I think, takes a lot of pride in his pick fed, and it shows. That's really good. GCW as well. His presentation is top notch. Other feds, I'd say EWF, Harrison. Spam Wrestling as well has a fantastic fed. I think is one of the most underrated in the community at the moment. And GSD Wrestling has a stop motion fed going on at the moment. Reminds me a lot of NLW in its early days. So I check those guys out. And there's more. If I've missed any out, I'm sorry.
Will we see another G1 Climax event or any other New Japan Pro Wrestling inspired event? Because I personally love the G1 Climax.
I did like doing the G1 that I did for Metal, but I don't think it translates very well view-wise. A lot of my audience prefers the storyline-based stuff I've done as opposed to the matches, so it could work. I would like to do a Super Juniors or a Tag League, but again, if that's something my audience wants, then it's up to them.
Are you planning on any more new series on your channel?
Well, I got the continuation of my new series with Spam Wrestling out coming soon, the Raws and SmackDown Fantasy Draft, where we basically draft a roster for Raw and SmackDown from the Ruthless Aggression era, using Jack's figures, kind of a fantasy pick-fed GM kind of thing. Other than that, might do some more drafts in the future, I don't know. Might even start doing some figure reviews if I've got the time for it. But at the moment, I'm happy focusing on NLW and Metal.
What's some advice you would give to up-and-coming stop-motion creator?
Don't worry too much about what other people think, but also don't try and just ignore what people think either. It's kind of a common ground. I know I'm contradicting myself. Kind of take advice on board, implement it, and then you'll improve. And again, just like use good lighting, for one. That can drastically improve your fed or whatever. You know, it's half the battle. If you've got a good light, if you've got a bad light, people aren't going to want to watch it because the presentation's naff. But other than that, do it because you enjoy it. Don't do it to become popular, and don't worry if no one's seeing it, because as long as you're enjoying it, that's the main thing.
What's the story behind FC Ad Clay 553? I don't know if I butchered that. I apologize and everything.
The story behind the name, there isn't really a story. F is my first initial, L is my last one. CAD, I was thinking about computers, and then Clay, because originally the channel was going to be for Claymation. And then 553, that's just a meaningless number, so it means a lot less than people think it does. It's just back in the days where a lot of people just had random gamer tags as their YouTube tag, so that's what I stuck with for a while until I just changed it to No Limits Wrestling.
Well, NLW, thank you for being here. It's such a pleasure. It's such an honor interviewing you. You were one of the top 5 people I really, really wanted to interview and everything. And I'm glad I got the opportunities. But before we go, is there anything you want to say?
Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure. Subscribe to No Limits Wrestling. New weekly episodes every Saturday.
NLW, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, NLW, for being here. And guys, good night, goodbye, and hey, thank you for staying tuned on the Animator Zone.